Hello and welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I'm actually talking about Roblox stock. That metaverse stock launched last year. The stock had a great run. It went all the way up to $141 and he gained a lot of institutional holdings for this stock. But the stock has started coming down. Now there is a out there right now. You see a lot of news that because of Kim Kardashian's AJ sex tape causing the stock to go down. That's somewhat is true, but it didn't cost like the stock to go from $100 to $34. The stock was already coming down. The stock was, if you see here, you have double top here. The stock was around $50 or so, and then it went down to $46 on April 12th, and now the stock has come down to $34. Now this is a normal thing. Now the actual reason the stock is down is not because of what happened. That's probably some of it, but the majority of the problem is I don't know if you guys know, but Netflix came out with their earnings and they have lost about 200,000 subscribers. That means what it really translates into that a lot of folks are going back to work. They're not staying home. They're not watching Netflix as much. So they lost a lot of subscribers. Now that is related to this stock as well, is because even though there are different industries, that gives an indication to a lot of people that people are not spending a lot of time on screen anymore, right? People out there now going back to work, things like that. So, which also is part of that, what is feeding into that decline here. Okay. Now, again, as I said, the stock was in 50s, when March, April. It's not like it dropped from $141 to $34 overnight when the Kim Kardashian news broke or something like that. This has to do with more financially than anything else. That could affect it, but they're a big company, and we'll talk about their balance sheet and their market cap, and they have ways to, if they want to implement ways to put more control on the chats or what news breaks out, because Roblox, I don't know if you know, but it's a metaverse. It's not like one game. You have different games within the game. Okay, and different people play different games, and they spend real money in it, etc., etc. Okay, and it's not for kids, by the way. I don't know. I don't know how. Even though you see cartoon characters, but definitely not a kid game. Okay, I don't know if they have a rating that is rated R, but this game it needs to be checked out. If you're letting your kids play this, you might want to check out their games and what type of games and what type of chats are coming through. Anyway, so Goldman Sachs has downgraded the Roblox stock because, look, as you know, right, as we just talked about, the stock is coming down. So there's no, right, the stock was at $36 in March, right? There's no Kim Kardashian news at that time, right? So the stock was going down. Other than that, there are still 5 big investors. They are having the majority of the stock. Like, for example, we have Altus Venture Management, 82.78 million shares or 15.31% ownership. Morgan Stanley, 40.55 million shares they own for this company. That is 7.5% ownership. You have FMR, 26.10 million shares, 4.83 ownership. T. Rowe Price, 21.88 million shares. That's about 4% ownership. And Index Venture Growth, about 21.6 million shares, and that's 3.9 ownership. This is a big companies that I personally know owns a lot of shares of the stock. Okay, as far as the institutional holdings in general is concerned, it's 68.71%. That makes it 455 institutions that hold about 170 million shares together for this company. All right, you have 211 companies sold out of their position. That is only 40 million shares. If you net that, you still got a good amount of shares still held by institutional banks. All right, let's look at their market cap for the company. 20.37 billion, and volume on an average that is traded for the stock is about 25 million. Let's look at their assets. So everything is by thousand. So if you see 4.5 million, you got to times that with 1,000. So the total assets they have is about 4.5 billion. Total liability is about 3.9 billion. Stockholder equity is about 592,000. So the balance sheet doesn't look that bad. Operations, look. Operating cash flow is 659 million because you got to times that with 1,000. $659 million. So they are making off of their operations. So whatever games they're selling, whatever things the people buying on their games, their operations are successful. Whatever servers they're using, etc., all the investing or the expenses they have on their side is about $146 million, which is negative. And financing cash flow is how much money have they raised from stocks is about $1.5 billion. That's a lot of money they raised from stocks. And the money they hold in their possession is about $3 billion, right? So with that being said, right, they have, their cash flow looks okay. Yeah, free cash flow, they have about 557,000, which times by 1,000, that's 557 million in free cash flow. Really good. The statement looks good. There's not a lot of short interest. I mean, this is a little higher, but it's still not as bad as you would think that people are trying to bring this company down. There's nobody forcing the company to go down. There's no scheme going on. It's about 8.80%, which is fairly okay for a large company like this. So look, at the end of the day, so I do have a couple of support and resistance here, but look, there's nothing, there's no support. Okay. The support that we have, it's not existence. The stock only launched last year. Okay. Here's what it is, right? It's not a financial advice, but look, let the stock go to wherever levels it goes, right? Looking at the different factors, the big 5 companies that we talked about on a good ownership on that, 68% we just talked about, that, 68.71% is owned by institutional banks. So retail investors are not really that significant part of this, I would say. It's only 30% part of ownership, right? So 30%, which means that if they sold out, yeah, it could bring down a little more further down, but eventually the stock will revive, because that, and if somebody says, okay, the metaverse is not, it's not safe for kids, maybe they will, they have enough capital, they have enough cash to implement measures that would make it more accessible or more PG-13 type, for kids. And if even if Kim Kardashian goes ahead with the sue or whatever she's want to do with that, I don't think it's going to get anywhere, because essentially what's going to happen is the metaverse will have to segregate their game in a way that is appropriate for kids, and it's also advertised for adults. Right now, if I, as a parent, you will see Roblox, you would think it's a kid game, but it's actually not. Research on that. You'll be very amazed and surprised. So look, I think this is a great company. A lot of potential. Don't buy it right now because it is still declining, and there's a very sharp EMA is like steep down, which means that it's not going anywhere above any levels anytime soon. If you see the RSI is below 30, and it's actually a lot below 30, it's like 22. 0 will be bankruptcy, but they're at 22 level, and I see them going down here for a while, and maybe you could see another $4 drop on this stock. Maybe it'll go to $30. Look, at this point, just let it be, let it go down. There's no support. Once it's established that support, and you see test that support and goes back up, comes down, goes back up, and do that a couple of times, you'll know that is your support. Now there you can start playing around with the stock, but to disregard the stock that is going to go bankrupt or is going to go to penny stock, I kind of doubt that, because of, as we just talked about, their financials. And the ownership on the institutional banks and the big companies that hold the stock. Definitely worth to be part of the watch list at this very moment, right? Because if you purchase now, yeah, eventually it might revive, but there will be a long time before you can see any potential gain on it. But you let it drop, and you let it drop all the way, and you let it drop from the support, let it test the support, and when it started rising, and if it comes back up and rise again, you already know this is a good support now, where it's going to stay there for a while. So definitely add it to your watch list. I just want to bring this up to you guys that I know there's a lot of different things that Kim Kardashian news is causing the stock to go haywire. I don't think that's entirely true. It's a lot to do with other aspects as well, like Netflix losing subscribers, people not spending enough time on the screen, and because these guys, Roblox, also present how much people are logged in at one time during the day for on their platform, and that's also goes to show how much revenue they're going to generate off of it. So these things are the real driver of the stock price, not a news that broke out from Kim Kardashian. That's just insane. That would affect it a little bit, maybe it cause it to go down maybe $5-6, but not from $50 to $34. So just keep an eye out on the stock. I think they will bring their numbers up again next quarter. I would definitely add it to the watch list. I'm adding it to the watch list. So, I mean, just watch out for the stock, and hopefully you like this video. If you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. I will be making more videos. I just wanted to cover this for you guys, and hopefully I'll speak to you guys in the next video.